Jim Tetlow, how many people do you feel are pursuing the so-called Queen of Heaven, or Queen of All, rather, around the world as we speak?
Well, as you know, Jan, in the book we document statistics from Catholic sources and secular sources, and there are millions. For example, in Guadalupe, Mexico, the Apparitions shrine there receives about 15 to 20 million pilgrims every single year. They've had up to 5 million on a single anniversary. And this is just one apparition site. In Medjugorje, since the apparitions began in 1981, there have been an estimated 30 million pilgrims. And again, that is an estimate from Catholic sources. That's not my estimate. Mm-hmm. In this country, there are apparitions reported from New York City to San Francisco, almost every state that you investigate. In fact, almost every parish, Catholic parish, you'll find someone who claims to have some kind of either apparition or interlocution from the Virgin Mary. Some of the more notable ones would be Nancy Fowler in Conyers, Georgia, where she has received up to 100,000 visitors on a single day on her farm.
Let me play a clip. This is from your film, Messages from Heaven, where you actually zero in on Nancy Fowler. And I think almost the more important part of this clip, where we do have Nancy speaking, but the more important clip is the response that the followers of Nancy Fowler are saying. If you could kindly play clip 1, gentlemen.
In Conyers, Georgia, seer Nancy Fowler has received up to 100,000 visitors to her farm on a single day. The pilgrims come from all over, many traveling great distances to hear the Virgin's most recent message.
Do I ask of you? Just to trust me. Tell my children I am alive.
Many followers believe the Blessed Mother is present.
Currently, she is appearing all over the world, hundreds of times. There are many visionaries. Nancy is one of the links. And the time is running out, and Our Lady said that she is stopping in everywhere.
Definitely believe something's going on.
And for all those who believe, they may now have the proof they need to convince others. 2 scientists from Columbia came to the farm yesterday to study Fowler, and they say she is definitely seeing something when she goes into her trances.
It has a brain activity that looks and seems to be like coma, but she is awake and fully responsive.
All right, there, Jim, somebody has come to investigate this and say that she goes into a trance and her brain has coma-like, whatever, her brain turns into a coma-like situation. What do you make of this?
Well, first, I think the listeners should know that we're not saying that every apparition is legitimate or happening. Certainly there's some people who are either making them up or having hallucinations. Mm-hmm. But when you look at the hundreds and even thousands of reported apparitions and investigate what's happening, you have to come to the conclusion that something paranormal or supernatural is occurring, because visionaries have been tested. They go into an altered state of consciousness. As the video clip said, they have brain activity like a coma, but they're fully alert. They're able to receive very detailed messages. And then, of course, there are miracles. There are things that happen at these apparition sites, such as statues that bleed or tear up, rosaries that turn gold. The miracle of the sun is a very common, albeit fantastic phenomenon. It happens at almost every apparition site that we've investigated, probably every one, where the people look at the sun. People have looked directly at the sun and their retinas were not damaged, and apparently, and they see the sun spinning or dancing and sometimes plummeting towards the earth. Sometimes they see the sun turn into what looks like a communion host. And so I could go on, but there are many reported miracles, and then there are many documented healings. And the question we have to ask is that obviously God can do these, but the Bible also indicates that Satan can counterfeit healings. He can perform, in the Bible it says he will perform all power, signs, and lying wonders in the last days. And as you mentioned so often on this show, if there's one word to describe the last days in the Bible, it would be deception. And the deception that Jesus and Paul and John and Jude and Peter and even the Old Testament prophets anticipate is happening.
All right, you mentioned the silver turning into gold, etc., and there are, of course, as you document in your book, Messages from Heaven, your film and book, Messages from Heaven. But today we're talking about Jim Tetlow's new book, Queen of Rome, Queen of Islam, Queen of All, The Marian Apparitions Plan to Unite All Religions. And we're going to get more into how Muslims respect her so highly, and the New Age, and people from the East. We're going to get into all of that. But, Jim, you just mentioned some of the miracles. Let me play the clip here that actually reveals someone saying that a rosary they had was silver and it turned to gold.
I saw the Virgin. She came out of the clouds, and I saw her. I saw the silhouette.
I saw the Virgin Mary wearing a crown of gold.
Mary had turned her silver into gold.
This was all sterling silver. The beads and the crucifix, everything was gold.
I touched my rosary to the cross hanging outside the home, and it actually turned from silver to gold.
The devil doing that?
Well, it's certainly not God. See, when God does miracles in the Bible, they're all practical. People are getting healed. People are being fed. The Red Sea is being divided so they can cross over. He doesn't do miracles in the sense of just for show, just for euphoria. But, more importantly than that, we have to look at the source. The apparition claims to be doing these miracles, and how can we test the apparitions? The key way is to test the messages. What is she saying, or what is it saying, and does it line up with the Word of God? And that's one of the things we do in the book, Queen of All.
Jim, you document, and of course I was aware of it anyway, because some months ago now, Time magazine came out with a cover story, Mary for Protestants, how Protestants are beginning to accept many aspects of Mary. We have the, 1996 Life magazine featured Mary on the cover and asked these questions. Why are 2 billion Hail Marys said daily? Why did 5 million people, many non-Christian, visit Lourdes this year to drink the healing waters? Why did more than 10 million trek to Guadalupe to pray to Our Lady? Why the apparitions? Why are Mary hymns creeping into the Methodist songbooks and other denominations? What is it about Mary? The Life article goes on to list numerous apparitions and to quote various statistics. And then the 2003 in the Los Angeles Times included an article entitled Our Lady, Not Just for Catholics. In an article, they note that the apparition known as the Virgin of Guadalupe, long revered by Latinos, now occupies a place in other denominations. The trend is particularly noticeable in the Episcopal and Lutheran churches, others as well, though, whose liturgical traditions are closest to Catholicism. And then Muslims chanted from the Quran, Mary, God has chosen thee and purified thee. He has chosen thee above all women. At Zaytun, as well as countless other sites around the globe, the phenomenon draws together people from every conceivable background. And I guess, Jim Tetlow, that's what concerns me.
Yes, it's across the world. The apparition comes in different forms, in different guises. Mm-hmm. She appears, if she's in Africa, she'll often appear black. If she appears in the East, she'll appear with she'll look more oriental. And her messages change a little bit. If she's appearing to, for instance, a New Ager, the message is not so rigid Catholicism as it is global ecumenical peace mm-hmm. and unity. Mm-hmm. When she appears, though, in a place like Poland or Mexico, which are predominantly Catholic